Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and this time we are looking at the 240 version of the Kohetsu HAP40 Wa Gyuto. This has a core steel of Hitachi HAP40 semi-stainless. It is a powdered metallurgy steel, and it's known for very, very high edge retention. And it's only about 4 to 6% chromium approximately, so it's definitely not on the stain resistant side of things. So semi-stainless is a good name for this steel. It will form a bit of a patina to it. The heat treat rating is about 65 Rockwell, so they take that to a very high hardness. And the construction is a softer stainless cladding over the top of that core steel. I've been testing out this 240, and you can definitely see some patina on the edge. Pretty common on this type of knife, a lot of knives, that the stainless cladding is pretty soft. So these will tend to get marked up just with normal use and cleaning and wiping off and drying with the towel and such. So they're tools. So this will get to look like a nicely used tool as you go along. So again, the cladding is fairly soft, and so expect it to show things pretty quickly. And again, that's quite common for a lot of knives. The weight on the knife is about 140 grams or 4.9 ounces. So these have nice, light, thin blades to them and light handles to help contribute to that quality. The blade length was right about 242 millimeters on this sample, and the overall length of just over 15 inches. The spine thickness was 2.3 inches above the back of the blade at the heel and the chin area, and then it thins out just a little bit. Doesn't have a ton of distal taper, but kind of thins out when you hit the grind of the blade towards the tip, and so the tip itself thins out really well right at the end. And the blade height is 49 millimeters on these, so kind of a nice kind of in-between height to give you a little bit of clearance on the board, but not excessively high. And the handle is a lightweight, well-finished, well-done octagonal hoe wood with buffalo horn ferrule, and about a 3-inch circumference where the ferrule meets the wood. And again, the handle is light, which contributes to a lighter blade, and also a fairly weight-forward balance on this one. So here's the balance point in between those two main kanji symbols. And so it's a little bit in front of a pinch grip, which gives you a little bit of mass to the front of the blade for some cutting power. The blade itself is still light and nimble. The performance on this knife is excellent. This is a laser performer. It may not be as thin as some, but this really flows through soft product very, very well, and the 210 should do the same. I chose to just look at the 240 for actual use, but these are really high performance blades. They flow through soft product really well. And so here, this has embossed kanji, kind of a light emboss to it, and you can see the belt finish on it and the curve of the profile on the right side of the blade and the left side of the blade. I had no steering issues whatsoever with this knife. I'm a left-hander. They've got a polish section on a lot of the Kohetsu blades that flows into the actual edge area, but it's not the final bevel. So on the right side of the blade, they've got that, and the left side of the blade, they typically do not. So it's not a highly asymmetric bevel necessarily, but they've got that contour that flows into the edge that's polished. These have a small actual edge bevel to them, and the out-of-the-box edge on both the 240 and 210 was outstanding. A good solid 7 out of 10. I have not touched it as I've been using it, and this thing is still razor sharp. It came really, really one of the sharpest out-of-the-box edges I've had, and I've handled hundreds of knives. And this thing is just screaming through produce. It's really awesome. I have not had to touch the edge whatsoever. So this HAP40, they actually, when they first got it in, they started calling it voodoo steel because it held an edge so long. And so far, I haven't done a ton with it, but it's been great. Here's the profile on it. It's actually starting to dig into the board right here doing this, which is pretty cool. So here's the profile. It's kind of curvy. The 210 is quite similar. This is just a little more stretched out version. And so it's got a touch of a bump right there in the profile, not much, but kind of a gentle curve throughout and a fair amount of belly towards the tip. I can get about right there before I start digging the tip in. So you got pretty much actually up here. So you got a pretty good generous belly towards the tip for some height on the heel if you wish to do that rear rocking. Not particularly flat, but kind of a good rocker or kind of push-pull cutter. Again, the tip, you don't have a ton of distal taper, but what is there makes the tip fly through stuff very, very well. I think the sharpness definitely helps, but these are just really nice knives. I want to make you aware of one other thing, and that the spine on these does have a little bit of a curve to it. There's a little bit of a spine curve at the front of the blade and then curves up in the back. And what that does is cant the handle slightly off, kind of parallel to the cutting board, as a lot of knives have. And so when you put it on a board, you'll get a little bit of a cant to the handle up. Not much. I've compared it to some standard 240s, and it's not a lot of different, but there'll be just slightly more cant to it. And a lot of people probably will not even notice the difference. If you use a lot of knives, you may notice a little bit of difference to that. It really didn't bug me at all in use. You kind of adjust pretty quickly to it, but just be aware if you see the spine, you say, is there a little curve to that? Yes, there is. So that's just the design of the blade itself. 210's the same way. So here you have a high performance, great core steel, stainless clad, lightweight knife with laser performance features. The Kohetsu HAP40 Gyuto 240mm knife.